potato. And now we see if it is actually on. I'm sure there are like easier ways to check that a stream has begun.
Rob.
But I'm not really a streamer. That's okay. All right, we are up, looks like. Wonderful.
Yeah, I saw a little thing for it.
I love the little thing you get. I wish I knew how to make it happen to me as well.
Subscribe to yourself.
Oh. Sure, why the fuck not? Welcome back, everyone, to Storytime with Jay and Satan. Today we're reading the first of two groups of Unda's actually shorter one-shots. The rating for all of these stories is teen, and I am at the start of a little bit of a throat cold, but I think we can get through it with the power of tea and friendship.
The power of tea and friendship. I accidentally said friendship. Yep,
Friendship.
that's how it's said.
That's how you know it's a ship of Theseus. You start calling it a shib.
Listen, I am the kind of person that will just replace letters in a word until it's a completely different word.
Nice.
Like, this is fine.
This is fine. These are still words. There will be coughing. Everyone, bear with me. Today I'll be doing, for this story, this is a statement of doom. It's a Magnus archive-based friend. I will be doing Carcat, Jade, and Rose.
And I will be doing Felix and Dave.
Huzzah! Would you be good starting us out, Satan?
I can do that. I was just taking a sippy sip.
Wonderful. Sip
All
so
right.
good.
You're not stupid, and you know you're not crazy either. Well, bipolar disorder aside, you're not crazy. You're pretty sure that you're actually remarkably sane given what you go through. So you'd research what happens with you, try to find others, and see what, if anything, could be done. You found a lot of crackpot people, some just obviously trolling online, some people gawking at others with genuine mental problems that caused delusions. That one rubbed you the wrong way because you've been in a state where you've seen things that aren't there before. Actually, it's the fact that you have hallucinated before that reassures you. The way that feels and the way your visions are is so distinct that you know that they're not the same. Eventually, a detail kept coming up in your searches. The Magnus Institute. So, fuck it, right? You head down to London, trying to ignore the feel of impending doom on some of your fellow passengers on the train. Passing a coughing man, you wince because you know he's got hours left. The Institute is actually remarkably boring from the outside, but not on the inside. When you step through the door, you stop and stare at a short, chubby man furiously flailing a broom around and swearing.
Fuck off! Fuck right back off to where you came from with your way too many gross hairy legs and don't come back!
The man snarls as he smacks the wall with each angry word. The wall is covered in tiny spiders that flee from his broom. You say, because what else can you say? The man whirls around at you, looking as intimidating as a 5 foot nothing dude in a goddamn sweater vest can possibly look. He points the broom at you suspiciously for a second, and you wince back from the spider goo on the bristles. This is the Magnus Institute, right? You ask.
Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry about all this. We're having a bit of a problem right now.
The man tells you. He narrows his eyes at a spider once more and squishes it. That's an understatement. You agree.
You're here to make a statement, right? You have that kind of look about you.
The man says as he lowers the broom again. Yeah, I am. You nod.
Thought so. Normally I'd say take a seat out here, but I wouldn't advise it right now. Come with me. I'm Carcat, by the way.
He introduces himself and motions for you to follow him. Felix. You reply uneasily and trail after him. Karkat leads you to an office that's more mess than clean space and hefts some files off of a chair so you can sit down. He curses absently as he rummages through some drawers to find a form and a pen.
Our archivist is the one who takes the statements, but she's out at the moment, but she's supposed to be back soon. I can take your details, though.
Karkat explains. He asks your name, address, contact details, and the topic of your statement. I see people's deaths, you tell him, and wait for the skepticism, the kind everyone has.
Does it feel like a knowledge-y thing or a dying thing?
Karkat asks instead as he casually picks up a pad of small sticky notes, the kind you use to mark your place in a book that you're studying rather than the kind you make notes on. They seem to have symbols printed on them. Both? I hear the voices of people about to die, but if I pass by someone who's going to, I just know if they've not got long left. There's a range on it. 22 miles, unless it's a really big disaster and lots of people die at once. Then it's further, you say, supplying more information because you can't really believe that he's talking or taking what you're saying at face value.
Yeah.
Karkat muses and finally peels off two of the little sticky tabs, a green one with an eye and a gray one with a skull, and sticks them to the edge of the form.
Sorry that happens to you. Sounds like it sucks dick, to be honest.
Karkat says sympathetically. No, that's way more enjoyable. You reply immediately, before your brain catches up with you. Karkat laughs, though, and leans on the desk with his elbow and rests his chin in his hand with a smile playing on his lips. Oh, damn.
Yeah, it is. But you get my point.
Karkat agrees. Shit, think of something intelligent to ask him so he doesn't think you're an idiot. Do you get a lot of statements here? You ask.
A shitload.
He nods. Is that the scientific term? You ask him teasingly.
Well, it might be in this field. You don't know.
Karkat huffs. So what's wrong with you then? You blurt out. So much for smart.
Excuse you?
Karkat says, his eyes narrowing at you. I mean, this place, you're not surprised by anything I said. I can't see that a normal person would get a job here, so you trail off.
I will have you know, I'm the most normal person in this building. I have no strange powers or abilities whatsoever.
He tells you haughtily and leans back in his chair. Bullshit. You call him on it, and Karkat bristles.
No, it's not. I'm normal. Everyone I happen to talk to just isn't. All my friends are, I won't say monsters, but they're not normal for sure. I'm normal.
He insists. You open your mouth to question him more on that subject when movement catches your eye. You look around. Karkat's room is square and overfilled with stuff. Files, papers, boxes. It definitely only had the one door in it when you came in. Dad wasn't there, you say slowly.
Stay there.
Karkat tells you and gets up with a stretch. As he reaches the door, there's a knock from the other side. Karkat opens the door and an arm flies out of it, past him, and bounces off the floor, making Karkat shriek and you leap up to your feet. Oh man, you should have seen your face! A man laughs, doubled over. Behind him, you can see a woman with long black hair, and when she laughs, it echoes around in your skull. The man who's laughing is missing an arm. That arm, in fact, and he's wearing a breastplate that looks like it belongs on a night mannequin in the Imperial War Museum.
You assholes!
Karkat hisses at them both and stomps off to pick up the arm.
Come on, Karkat, it was very funny.
The woman smiles slightly too wide.
No, it wasn't. You suck, and you people are the reason I can't have carpet in here.
Karkat grumbled. Which just makes me wonder how often is, like, amputated limbs just being yeeted around.
Right? It's the company football.
Oh my god.
It's like, Dave reattached his
Poor
arm. Quick, get your leg off.
Rachel.
We must maintain the bit.
How many times does Dave lose limbs is what I'm wondering.
Solid question.
All right. My heart bleeds for you. Also my shoulder. Is Rose back? The night guy says, and he steps into the room. The woman stays leaning against the doorframe.
Not yet, and take this with you. I have company, Dave. Now fuck off.
Karkat demands and tosses the arm at the knight, who catches it with his remaining one. Dave looks at you for the first time, and when you lock eyes with him, you stumble backwards in alarm, backing right into Karkat's desk. Where you normally feel the slipping sands of life trickling away from people and the looming doom of their death, with him, it's missing entirely. You don't die, you breathe in horror. I die all the time, just doesn't stick, he replies calmly, still staring.
Is he one of your lot or Rose's? I couldn't work it out.
Karkat asks, as he looks between the two of you. You're still backed against the desk. This man should be dying. He should be bleeding out and rushing to his doom, but it's not there. Or maybe he's just beyond it. Same as me. I should bounce. He sighs and turns for the door you came through, not the extra one.
Hey, when I said fuck off, I didn't mean you could leave without telling me what happened to Vriska.
Karkat calls after him. It's dealt with, Dave says over his shoulder, walks out.
Rude. Thanks for bringing him back, Jade.
Karkat directs this comment to the woman in the doorway. Her body seems subtly wrong, but she at least feels like she can die, even if it's very far off. She's not so unnerving.
It's fine. I always like hanging out with Dave. Plus, Vriska's in time out with me for a while, at least until her little followers cut that nonsense out.
She nods.
Rather you than me.
Karkat grimaces. Jade nods and waves goodbye with fingers that don't seem quite right. She closes the door, and when you blink, it's gone. Friends with monsters, huh? You breathe a little shakily.
Speaking of...
Karkat points over your shoulder. You whirl on the spot, expecting some other horror, but it's just a woman. She has jaw-length, bleached blonde hair and piercing purple eye. Dangling from her neck is a thin chain with a plethora of eye-themed pendants hanging from it.
Solic's captor, I see you want to make a statement.
She smiles at you.
Here, Dave said he's associated with the end, not the eye, so let me just...
Karkat peels one of the stickers off and hands the form to the woman. The form that said your name on it, that she hadn't read before saying your name.
Wonderful. Thank you, Karkat.
She says absently as she looks over the form.
This rude fucker is Rose Lalonde, head archivist. She's the one who takes the statements.
Karkat explains for you.
I'm also your boss.
Rose says with a frown directed at Karkat.
You can't fire me.
Karkat snorts.
You're right, but I can do other things. For instance, I see you got his number.
Rose smiles meanly.
That's not... Stop that!
Karkat hisses at her. Wasn't that just a field on the form? What are you missing here?
Come with me, Solix. I want to hear all about it.
Rose smiles and leads you from the room, leaving Karkat cursing behind you both. You kind of hope that you can see him again after this statement, or at least find out who he is. Your thoughts are so occupied with him that even after you've given your statement and spilled your guts on things you never mean to bring up, things you've never told anyone. Anyway, even after that, you're thinking about Karkat, normal human guy who makes friends with monsters and has your number. You're so focused on thinking about him that as you leave, you don't notice the way that the wall was previously covered in spiders is empty, or how the floor is littered with their upturned little bodies. You just want to find a reason to see Karkat again.
He has priorities.
Gay.
Gay! Gay, Your Honor. So
I
gay.
say nodding sagely.
Sagely nodding gay.
Gay. Same little man.
I think...
I say about a character who's definitely taller than me.
Yeah. Solix being tall is one of those, like, constant headcanons that I'm always delighted to see.
Yes. Listen, tall stick not Karkat. Tall stick Solix, tiny chubby Karkat. Those are the vibes.
Those are the vibes.
Although older brick shithouse Karkat is also very good.
This is true. Karkat can be buff chunk or chub chunk, so long as he chunk.
Yes. I love buff chunk. That's my fucking favorite. I love when it's like, yes, he has a belly, but he could kill you.
Yeah. If you guys wish to read about a buff chunk Karkat, you can re-listen to The Great Empire of HIC, and or you can read Your Words Destroyed My Planet by Unda.
By Unda. We're just here like, yes, Unda, our Lord and Savior. Would you like to hear about Unda?
Have you heard of Unda? Have you spread the good word?
Spread the good word.
That would be, I am now tempted to, like, go around to, like, a religious person, except, hi, have you heard of Unda?
Oh my god, listen, just like, the Bible of Unda is just Dave's Broken Diamond Club.
I mean, that's what it is for me.
Listen, that's literally how I figured out who Unda was. Is I started reading Dave's Broken Diamond Club. And then eventually, like, read a few others, found the server, and now I'm here.
Now you're here. It was the first one that I read that, like, was still updating as I was reading it. I, like, spammed through MC Escher really fast because I read fast. But then, like, I was part of the waiting and thinking culture, like, of DBDC. Although it like, I didn't join the server at the time. I was just excited to be there.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I'm at least, like, obviously in, like, the waiting and watching with 22 seconds later and E equals MC squared.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just sitting here like everyone in the various channels just like losing their shit.
Yep.
All right. Ooh, I get to voice John in this next one, it looks like.
You do. This next fic is called You Can't Just Serenade Someone and Have Them Fall in Love with You. Wait, can you?
I love Unda's titles so much.
They're so fun.
They really are. I love them dearly.
Alright, I think I'll take a turn at narrator for a bit and see how I'm feeling with that.
Okay, and then I'll swap in if you need me to. The other one was short enough that I just narrated the whole thing.
Yeah. I like had the thought to stop you and then I was like, nah, the length of this fic, this is fine unless they ask for help.
Yeah, I think I did okay.
You did!
Alright. Ready?
Ready. Ah, shit, I'm all turned around. You hiss as you clench your hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah, take a right.
Solix says, his eyes on his phone. Which right? You ask, scanning the road ahead.
That one you pathed back there?
Solix says flatly. You asshole, why didn't you say? You demand, glancing away from the road to shoot him a poisonous look.
What? How many times have we been to this place? I didn't think I needed to give you directions. Do you need me to tell you how to drink when we get there too?
Solix snaps back at you. You are experienced in driving with one hand and slap fighting your brother with the other, but neither of you carry it on too long because you don't actually want to have an accident. It doesn't matter anyway, because Solix is actually pulling up directions for you to reroute you from where you're going.
Stay on this one. You can pull a U-turn in a little bit. And so...
He drags that last part out, and you can feel your skin prickle with him looking at you.
Your crust is going to be there tonight.
Aye, you flounder.
Wait, sorry. I should be more specific with you, shouldn't I? Who haven't you had a crush on?
Solix snickers at you. I hate you, you declare.
You're the one that gives the rest of us bisexuals the reputation for being attracted to everyone. But it's not true. Carcat Vanta's captor is an outlier and should not have been. Ow!
Solix yelps as you catch him on the shoulder. It's not a thing, okay? It's just a stupid little crush, and like you said, that happens a lot. Stop laughing. If I can get through my crushes, I basically almost always have a great friend afterwards, so it'll be fine. It's not like anything is going to happen. You sigh.
Okay, fair point, but you've known him for ages and you still have a crush. Don't you think it might be something?
Solix reasons, and then snaps his fingers at the turning you have to make. You take the excuse of navigating the turning to not answer. The thing is, you have had a crush on Dave for ages. It's true. It's not a terrible crush. You're not insensible around him or anything. It's just always there, a little flutter when you think about him, wishful thinking about what could be, admiring the way he looks when you see him. But it's not going to happen. You're pretty sure the reason it's not going to happen is entirely your fault. You met Dave and his identical twin sister Rose, and yes, they are identical twins, and no, you don't know which one of them was born with a different name, and as they haven't told you, it's none of your goddamn business. It's not like that shit is new to you either. Sai gave birth to you, and they have solidly maintained that they lost their gender in a tragic 404 error, so they're non-binary. And then you have your mom and your dad as well, so you're hardly one for traditional anything. Whatever, you had a point. Right, so when you met the two of them, you were immediately floored by how they look. Which, basically, if you saw them in a fantasy movie, you'd declare that obviously they were hot elven creatures designed to ensnare people with their good looks. And you'd berate the protagonist for falling for it. They have fair and flawless skin, white blonde hair, and unusual eyes that are this reddish purple that's somehow natural. They were so hot it made you angry. Then, of course, Dave made you angry, because of his general personality and how he's an infuriating guy. You may have been having a bad day at the time. It was made worse by Dave not believing that he's not the only twin there because, actually, Solix is yours. Yes, haha, you're twins, and you look nothing alike. You look like your dad, he looks like Sai. He has about a foot and a half just about he has about a foot of height on you, and sometimes he weighs half as much. Meanwhile, you're short and you're going to say sturdy. If you look closely, you can see the ways where you're the same. Solix has heterochromia, but his reddish-brown eye is a complete duplicate for your left eye. His fingernails are just like yours, the shape of his top lip is yours, you both have the same bit of hair that won't lay flat just at your temple that Sai has. But, yeah, for the rest of the time, you look nothing alike. It's grating being told that all the time. You're aware you don't look the same. You certainly didn't need Dave's skepticism that your twin doesn't even look the same ethnicity as you. And again, you know that. He looks as Korean as Sai is, and you look as Maori as your dad is. You may have said something regrettable about not needing to take that kind of comment from some dumb white boy like him. You were then immediately shouted at by Dave and Rose both in what you've since discovered was Navajo, because anyone can be albino. Yeah, you were the asshole there. Well, Dave too, but yeah. Nothing's going to happen, you say finally. You wish it would. It's not like you two hate each other still. You both moved past that original fuck-up. His twin is dating your best friend, and his best friend is your friend, so you weren't getting away from him. Repeated proximity to him showed you both, actually, that you could get on pretty well. Really well.
You could just ask him.
Solix points out. Did Nep put you up to this? You ask him suspiciously.
No.
Solix obviously lies. God damn it, your sister isn't even in the country, and she's still interfering in the wasteland that is your love life.
Oh, forgive me if seeing you beat your head against this problem that isn't a problem, park there, gets frustrating sometimes.
Solix groans and points to a space you'd already seen and were already going to. Which one of us has the driver's license here? You argue.
Next time, I'm going to sit in the back and you can chauffeur me around properly. I'll buy you a hat.
He retorts and hops out. I'll kick you out of this car. I'll kick you out while the car is moving, you threaten.
I'll slash your tires with my broken bones when I land.
Solix escalates. I'll... Damn it. You sigh. You had nothing to escalate to. You thoroughly ignore Solix's fist pump of victory and start walking towards your destination for the night. It's not a bar, but it's not a cafe, or a karaoke place, technically. It's some mishmash of the three, run by someone with no idea what it means to mark out a niche or specialize, and instead, it's all of the above, and your entire group of morons loves the place, including you. You get a little jolt.
I love them.
Yeah. This place is weird. Ours. You get a little jolt when you walk in and see a flash of white blonde hair, but it's just Rose cuddled up to Kanaya's side, not Dave. You grab a coffee and take a seat with your sprawling group and listen in across the table as John talks about the biology final he had today and the apparent hell that it was. He's partway through his explanation, well, his bitching, really, when his back straightens and his eyes go wide.
Dave, what happened? Where are your shades?
John asks in surprise. You turn. You shouldn't have turned, but you did. Your treasonous brain provides you with a slow-mo view of Dave walking towards you, his unfairly long legs in distressingly tight jeans, striding like it's his name, and yeah, it is. His sleek hair flutters slightly as he moves, and without his signature shades, you can see his stark white lashes framing his eyes that are smoldering. It's like he's on the goddamn runway.
Don't even... Walk, fashion baby. Sorry. I know how to read. Don't even... Celix, remember those screwdrivers you had for your glasses?
Dave says, coming to a stop at your side, and you realize that the smolder you'd attributed to him in your slightly fantasy-dazed mind is really more of a squint.
The ones you mocked me for, because who'd need those?
Solix asks with a smug smile.
Yeah, all laugh at Dave time. Subway door chewed my glasses and very nearly my head because some tourist can't resist talking with his hands and also arms and shoved me. Please tell me you have them so I can fix these and not get a brain-melting migraine.
Dave pleads. You watch as your brother flickers through an expression that you've seen far too many times, and it always means he has an evil plan.
It'd suck if you had to leave. It's karaoke night. Here.
Solix says innocently and hands them over, holding them in front of the empty chair next to you. Dave innocently takes the screwdrivers and sits down next to you.
Thank you.
Dave sighs, and fishes the admittedly bent shades out of his jacket. Can you fix that? You ask.
It's just a little bent and popped the screw, I think.
Dave nods as he fiddles with them.
You've never actually been here on karaoke night, have you?
Solix asks, faux innocence in his voice.
No. I usually have class today. Honestly, I thought the karaoke was a joke to put people off. I didn't know they actually did it.
Dave admits, rejecting one screwdriver and trying another when the first didn't work.
So you've never heard Carcat sing?
Solix smiles. What is he doing?
He's really good,
John says brightly. Dave looks up at that, and then over to you, with a very blatant skepticism on his face. The fuck is that look for? You demand.
I've heard you talk, dude. Your voice sounds half like you've been sucking dick and half like you've been gargling gravel. Wait, no. Like you've been blowing the thing.
Dave says. And I bet you're fantastic, are you? Is that where this is going? Put me down to build yourself up? How very middle school of you, Dave. What a classic play. The judges are asleep forever now. Well done. You sneer at him. Yeah, this is why this is never going anywhere.
Well, Dave would be good.
John sighs.
Hey,
Dave protests.
you only ever sing dumb things or rap.
John protests. Dave actually has a lovely voice. Mother was quite keen on both of us participating in musical theater when we were younger. Dave was very good. It was fun. Rose leans over Kanaya to snitch on Dave to all of you.
Rose!
Dave says sharply, his cheeks flushing immediately. Without his shades on, he's much easier to read. My mistake. Sorry. Dave has never had any sincere interest or joy in anything ever. She teases him.
Whatever, I don't deserve this. Snarky broads dunking on me, tourists crashing my shades, stupid bright lights.
Dave mutters angrily, and his tiny screwdriver skips over his hand, just missing the lens of his shades and stabbing his finger enough to leave a scrape, but thankfully not to draw blood.
All right, give that to me. You're going to fuck your glasses, or at least my screwdriver. Gimme.
Solix insists, and snatches it from him without waiting for Dave to give it back. Dave just groans, putting his head in his hands so he can cover his eyes. He's sensitive to light. You know that much, and Sai gets awful migraines, so you empathize there. I drove. You can lay down in the back of my car if you need to. Quiet and dark and all, you offer. Dave is opening his mouth. You're sure to say no, but then something from the kitchen crashes, and you see how he winces.
You know what? Yeah, sure. Thanks.
He nods. Let me know when you're done, you tell Solix, who nods, grinning, and you know he absolutely won't. You blame Nepeta for having this effect on him. Her or your mom. You pat your pocket to check your keys are there and lead Dave outside into the night, circling around to where you parked. You unlock your car door and wrench the back door open, leaping in first to knock your accumulated stuff onto the floor. You are not expecting Dave to climb right in after you, forcing you to clamber over the backs of the seat to get to the front.
You don't have to be up there,
Dave says, and then snorts when you hit the horn with your knee ever so slightly, leading to your car just loudly going meep for a moment.
That's adorable.
He is style, he is grace.
He will scream at your face.
You should lay down, you tell him, so he shrugs and does so.
Jesus, you have a lot of shit in this car.
Dave curses as he shuffles about. Well, I wasn't expecting douchebags on my back seat. You snipe back at him and watch as he fishes up a hoodie of yours and uses it as a pillow. You fall silent and hope that it's dark and quiet enough for him. This is a stupid crush. It'll pass. It's just lasted for longer than the others, is all. Dave doesn't like you like that, and just thinking that makes your chest sting slightly. I'm glad we're friends, you say in defiance of your thoughts.
What brought that on?
Dave says from behind you. I was thinking about when we met earlier on the drive here, you tell him.
That train wreck?
Dave snorts. Yeah, I guess I'm lucky we're friends at all after that. Just ate my whole foot, you say with a sigh.
Well, I didn't make it easy. Just because annoying you was shitloads of fun and very easy doesn't mean I should have done it as much as I did. As I do. Also, you're a grouchy little bitch and I'm an asshole,
Dave says in the dark. True. Sorry, I should be quiet if you've got a migraine, you say softly. About a minute passes in silence.
Carcat?
He says. Yeah?
I'm glad we're friends too. Also, I know this is weird to say, but you're car smells like you.
Dave says, and now you have to turn around again to look at him. What? You say in disbelief.
It's just like, okay, you know you can go to John's house and you walk in through the door and you're like, ah, it's John. Even if you put a bag over my head and drove me around, if you walked me into one of our friends' houses, I could tell you where I was. You don't know your own house because you're immune to it, but you know other people's, right?
Dave says, in a rush with awkward hand gestures as he tries to speed through his explanation. I guess, you say slowly.
But like your house wouldn't smell like this car. Your house is probably all of you together, right? So it's you. Like your sweater. Not that I sniff your clothes. I just literally have had my face in it just now is what I mean. So that's just a thing I noticed and said for some reason.
Dave says, his voice pitching a little higher with nerves. I guess that makes sense. I usually just drive myself places. And the best thing about having a car is naps between classes. You concede?
There you go. That's why it's you.
Dave says, and you hear him sniff.
You and KFC? Do I smell KFC? Carcat, I thought you were a vegetarian.
Dave says, leaning up on his elbows. It was finals week. I fell off the wagon. Don't at me, you groan. You'd hoped no one would know.
For shame.
Dave teases. Fuck off, Strider. You hiss and sink low in your seat. Dave giggles softly, not a noise you've heard from him before, and you hear him shift about in the back.
Can you really sing?
He asks after a bit. Can you? You ask.
I want to hear.
Dave says. I am not singing to you in my car when you have a migraine, especially with no music. Doing karaoke is one thing. I'm not humiliating myself in here with you, you say firmly. Besides, if you were on stage and he just heard you, that's one thing. In here, you'd be singing to him, and that's something.
I don't actually have a migraine. I think you got me in time. My hero.
He tells you. Really? You ask.
Yeah, so now you gotta sing so I can hear.
Dave says brightly. All right, out of my car, now. You groan and haul yourself out. You pull the back door open, and Dave joins you with a flash of a smile that makes something in your chest flutter. Why can't you just get over this crush like every crush you've had on any of your other friends? Why does it keep sticking around? You leave Dave back inside, where Solix helpfully has his shades repaired, and you pointedly ignore the look he's trying to give you.
Ah, my hero.
Dave sighs happily as he slides them on. See, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. Switch narrator?
Yeah, sure.
Yay.
You get sucked into an anecdote that Teresi is telling, and you don't notice the music starting up. Not until Rose says something.
I've never heard you sing either, Carcat. You should.
Rose smiles, and you turn to see some stranger on stage already. You guess they started for tonight.
I don't know. Maybe.
You shrug. With his I almost said shrades. That Shrek shades. Oh my goodness. Dave would totally wear Shrek shades, though.
He would.
He would rock those. With his shades back on, you can't tell if Dave is watching you, but you think he might be. You try not to think about it. The night passes on, and you get hungry enough that you go up to order food, since everyone else is just doing that as and when they want it. Wow, I know how to read. I am so sorry.
You're good.
I'm going to try that again. It is not even 1 p.m. Why am I already doing a fucky wucky? The night passes on and you get hungry enough that you go up to order food, since everyone else is just doing that as and when they want it. Only yours will take a bit to cook, and you're already up at the bar, so Your eyes track across to the menu of songs that they have at the karaoke stage. You know it well, and you're tempted. You do actually enjoy singing, and you don't think you're great at it, but it's fun. Stage fright isn't really a thing that happens to you much, or it is, but only to the extent that it makes singing a thrill to do rather than terrifying. And yet now you're a little bit nervous. You're not stupid enough to say it's not because of Dave. You should skip this. Do it! Sellex yells from your table. That fucker. Do it, do it,
do it, do it.
yes! Several of your friends are chanting. The treasonous bastards. You hate them all.
Fine, fine.
You shout back and stomp over. Damn it, this isn't about Dave, but you're at least going to have plausible deniability of picking a song that you can play off as not serious or sincere like he no doubt would. Fuck, Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon. You've sung it 1,000 times, usually in bathrooms with damn good acoustics, but whatever. Because you have no luck at all, there was no cue before you, so you have to go up right away. Your stomach turns as you get up there, but the practiced motions of singing sand down the edges of anxiety, and you get on with the song. When you dare look over at your table, you can't help but notice that Dave's attention on you is rapt, and you really wish Sellex hadn't fixed his shades so quick. The song ends, and they all cheer or clap when you come down. Your dumb brother texts you requests from the table. You filter out the ones you're absolutely not doing and slam through the ones that'll be fun. Time after time, toxic, and even man after midnight, because why not? You're grinning when you're done, but you feel a little like you're running out of air, so you come down. Your friends
I'm
are
gonna do
clapping, but David...
the little car cat song.
Oh, yeah.
Because I figured out how I would have him sound for singing. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Yeah. There would also be
And
a
me
little
clapping.
Dave singing later. Oh, thank you. Love to sing.
Which I might have to have you do because I don't know the song.
All good.
It's also way more high pitched than I can sing at.
Yeah, it goes up there.
I'm just a little emo boy. Do not expect me to sing high pitched.
Totally fair.
Where was I? I think I was at Your Friends Are Clapping.
Yeah.
Yay! Thank you for highlighting.
Yeah.
My ADHD ass can't read. My eyes just bounce. Your friends are clapping, but Dave is out of his seat before you can get to the table, going right past you to the karaoke. Karaoke? What is this, like teriyaki?
Teriyaki songs. You can taste the flavor of the song.
Delicious. Past you to the karaoke book and flipping through it. If Unda is here, I hope they're enjoying me not knowing how to read.
I'm sure they are.
Teriyaki, my favorite kind of sauce. Going right past you to the karaoke book and flipping through it. Is he trying to compete with you? You don't care if that's his goal because you know you're not the best by any means, so you'll hardly be threatened if he's better than you.
Carcat, you really are very good.
Rose says happily as you come back.
Thanks. Oh, hey, my fries came.
You say, and Sellex pushes them across to you. I guarded them for you, he assures you.
Yeah, for a fee.
You scoff, noticing the dent taken out of the portion. Hey, Dave's on, John exclaims, and you turn your head to see that he is indeed on stage. The song is not one you know, and at first you think he's singing something dumb. After all, John said he never did anything sincerely. But there's a backing track in there, and you realize as he starts to go on that, damn, Dave has range. The music reminds you vaguely of Muse, but you know it's not. The song does feel like something you've heard before and has probably come up before on your Spotify recommendations or whatever. On stage, Dave pushes his shades into his perfect hair. You hate him. And his eyes flick open and he's staring right at you. How do you breathe again? Oh god, the music is going all heavy on the piano and his voice is picking up. This is definitely how you die. He is good. He's so good. Fuck, what is your face doing right now? Is he going to know what you're feeling? Shit.
Take my advice and run while you still can. To the race has got my love jump started. The only one I want is you.
Dave sings.
Missed
The
last
thing
note,
in your
got
chest
close.
that's okay, it is really high. The thing in your chest that you carry for Dave, your crush, is doing just that. It's crushing your heart. You're having a meltdown. This is a disaster that's upped its rating from crush to full on pining. I told, Felix starts, all smug, like he knew this was happening. He's fine, isn't he? Sitting there with his arm around his spooky girlfriend when you have no one.
Fuck you.
You hiss, not taking your eyes off of Dave. I told you he could sing too. John laughs happily as he claps along with the drums in the song. The guitars play and Dave's eyes flicker over to your table, a flicker of a smile on his face. You can't even hate him because it's not a cocky smile. He's just happy and maybe a little nervous. Fuck your life. You nearly weren't even friends with him at all, and now this? Can you find a spoon on the table and just scoop your heart out with it? You can't. Not because of how that's impossible, because that mean taking your eyes off of Dave and how he sincerely croons the last lines of the song to you. No, not to you. It's nothing to do with you. He doesn't sing a second song, which is probably good for your fragile constitution. You're not counting the time he got up with John to sing the metal covers to the Ghostbusters theme, because that surely can't have been a thing you were forced to live through. Surely not. Roll for constitution check. Not one.
Not one.
Critical fail.
Critical fail, critical
I
flail.
Critical flail?
Ah, my feelings!
Now I'm just imagining a flail, but each little, like, arm thing or whatever, it just has feelings written on it.
Yeah, like on the handle.
Yeah.
I'm here to introduce you to my feelings. Slam.
That's absolutely how Carcat does it. You try to enjoy the rest of your evening, and mostly you manage. Your awful brother ditches you all for his girlfriend, and eventually everyone else starts going their own way, and you decide maybe you should duck out early too. You walk to your car wondering how you're going to deal with this escalation of your feelings. You're wondering if you're going to have to self-restraint to not Google those lyrics so you can blare that song on repeat and think of Dave when you hear it. You hear footsteps following you, and your heart leaps into your throat for all the wrong reasons. And then all the right ones. Carcat, wait. You turn around, and your hand almost touching the car door, and you see Dave hurrying to catch up with you. You weren't bullshitting about being able to sing, he says in a rush.
Neither were you.
You say, and Dave shrugs. He stares at you, and you stare back for a moment. You know what? Fuck it. I might be totally misreading this. Maybe don't break the sunglasses if I am. I already had to fix them once today. Dave burbles on nonsensically.
Well, Solix fixed them.
You point out. Shut up. Dave groans and leans in and kisses you. You jerk back in surprise and realize your mistake immediately.
Fuck.
You curse yourself. Shit, sorry. Dave apologizes and pulls back.
Get the fuck back here and kiss me! That was what you were doing, wasn't it?
You say loudly and Dave stares at you. He nods ever so slightly and gets closer again. Gonna try this again then. You want this, right? He checks, which is sweet. You like it.
I want you.
You tell him. Carcat, don't say shit like that. You're gonna kill me. Steve wheezes and leans his hand against the back window of your car.
I'm going to kill you if you don't kiss.
Him kissing you is a good way for him to shut you up, it seems. Shit, this is so much better than any moment of idle wishful thinking had hinted it might be. You kiss him back like you have more than just a crush on him, which is fine because that's how he kisses you too.
Do you wanna
You mumble against his mouth when the two of you pause.
get coffee with me sometime or something?
We were just at a place that does coffee. Dave points out.
I mean a date. Do you want to go on a date with me?
You say grudgingly, because of course he's still annoying. It is at this point that your useless car realizes that two people pressed against it might be an attempt at theft and sets the alarm off, nearly scaring the two of you to death. Fuck me, Dave gasps as you silence the alarm.
If you go on a date with me, I might.
You tell him, betting everything you have on this one play. Dave stares at you, and you can't help but notice that even in what little light is out here, that his cheeks are red. Okay, he says, his tone strangled. You beam at him. God damn, your stupid brother is going to be so smug about this. But you don't even care. You have a date with Dave Strider.
Yeah!
Yay!
I love rereading these stories because you just get to be surprised and delighted by how Unda works the nonsense every time.
Yes, I love it so much. Listen, these fuckers are so stupid, and I just want to take them and just go, kiss.
Kiss. Smooch. Do the smooches. Oh, hang on, that was the wrong pause stream. There we go.
Okay. Oh, for the next one, am I still being Dirk or am I being Unda?
You're being Unda for the next one, and I'll be Dirk.
Okay, because right now it says that you're Unda and I'm Dirk.
Oh, did I get the casting wrong? Rip.
I'm just gonna type it before I forget.
Perfect. Thank you.
Is it already changed in the
It's changed in the formatting, yeah. The colors are correct, just not the casting.
Okay, got it.
So, we'll be back in 15 minutes. Everybody take care, drink water, etc.
Water, tea water.
All of the water, more water. I'm gonna get more tea. It's gonna be great.
Ah! I just ran face first into Celix.
Yes.
My the pull tab on my bedroom light broke off forever ago, so I replaced it with a little Celix. Which I do think is hilarious because there's just a Celix floating in the middle of the room that turns my light on.
Amazing.
All right. I'm gonna mute myself, go grab a snack,
Yeah.
probably some more tea.
Snack
And
tea.
do we know how time works? Do we want to just say it's 55 for start of break and then come back at... Would that be...
Yeah, let's come back at 10 as opposed to anything else.
Yeah, that makes sense. Listen, I don't know math. I just work here, Your Honor.
I just work here. Sweet. See you soon.
See you shortly. Boodadoop.
Yes, hello, I am also here. Shall I, should we start, I'll let the song end so that the next one is ready for us. Wonderful. Satan, ready to read, or are we chilling for 5 minutes?
Hello.
Hello!
Welcome back.
Welcome back. You have arrived and or returned. Welcome.
Arrived and or returned.
You found us. How did you do this thing?
Well, you see, the internet
Oh.
is a strange magical place.
Welcome to the internet. Have a look around.
Anything that brain of yours can think of can be found. I burnt myself on my teacup.
Oh no.
I say teacup like this mug isn't big enough to eat soup out of.
Yeah,
I have eaten soup out of this mug.
that's a good mug.
It's a good mug. Technically, I originally got it for some of my characters for D&D when I did TikToks for them.
Yeah. I want to say
Back in
thanks real quick to 3D Krishna, who also confirmed that the stream was on at the very start. I appreciate it.
I did see that. Yeah, I saw that when I went and checked on it while I was grabbing myself a snack.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Wonderful. So these are our final 2 stories of the day. This is not an ultimate Dirk. If you've read the Homestuck epilogues, you know what this is about. If not, enjoy the philosophy divorced from context.
Yeah, I haven't read the epilogue.
So this will be great for you.
Yeah, I know bits and pieces, but I basically went like, I'm not reading this because Dirk didn't need a villain arc. He needed therapy.
Mood. Yeah, totally fair. The only thing you need to know from the epilogues is that Dirk has ejected himself from the main group and taken Rose with him as a robot in order to go start another iteration of the game to like get it right, but also he's being a villainy douche about it. So that's your setup there.
Okay.
So this is Unda's reaction to the epilogues, which are famous in the Discord for going, "What epilogues?" in response to them, because
Epilogues? What epilogues?
Unda's not a fan as well.
Oh, can't blame them.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to start or should I?
I think you start because you get some chunky dialogue bits later, and so if I swap in for that, that'll be a good thing, I think. Or I could.
Okay, that makes sense.
I could be the narrator for this whole story, and then you be narrator for the whole next story, whichever you prefer.
Either works. I'd be fine with reading the next story if you want to get this one where I can swap in. It doesn't really matter either way.
Cool. I'm narrator now.
Okay, I'm just gonna give Unda more or less my normal voice.
Yeah, I think that's good, and it's also a good reason for me to be a narrator so that you don't have to focus on like what's my normal narrator and my normal Unda.
Yeah.
Hella. Okay. Author note. Being a heart player and also a pretentious philosophy loser, the author has feelings about the whole ultimate Dirk thing. Your liberated ship grinds to a halt in space, and in a kindness from physics that you weren't expecting, you somehow weren't atomized on the nearest wall thanks to the cessation of momentum. The fuck? You say? Rosebot informs you that you've simply stopped, which you already knew, thanks. You step out of the airlock and into space outside, one of the perks of godhood. In the distance around you, there's a pinkish sheen to space that, if you were to note, and if you were to note that it bears a similar hue to your own clothes, you'd be correct. Your eyes don't so much as unfocus as they take in something larger than they're used to, like trying to take in the horizon over the sea all at once. Along the sheen, you see lighter spaces, which, if you take a big enough view, almost look like the fingertips of some colossal hand.
Oh, my bad. I'm just like looking at that shade of green. Like, that's a nice shade of green. Why don't you come up here?
A voice says. You twist in the air, well, in the void of space, really, and see a figure sat atop your ship. Flying up as fast as you can, you see a person, a human, dressed in heart clothes, but not your prince garb. No, you'd seen alternate Kanayas like this. Who the hell are you? How did some girl... You inexplicably find yourself choking on your own spit instead of saying the wrong word. How embarrassing for you.
Not a girl, thanks, but plenty of people make that mistake.
The sylph says, tucking some rainbow hair behind their ear. How pretentious, very cool can you get? You're controlling the narrative, you say, and though you try to wrest it back, you can't.
It's kind of my jam, as it happens, but don't worry. I don't intend on puppeting you about. My influence, should we call it, it only exists within what I've quarantined here. I want to talk.
The sylph says. Maybe I don't, you tell them.
I guess I don't really need you to want to right now. That sounds way creepy, actually. I mean that I have some thoughts, and I'm sure if I share enough, you'll eventually want to talk back.
They say with a laugh.
I know a lot about you, Dirk. I'd like to know a little more.
They say. You very pointedly don't say anything. You're tempted to try to attack this intruder with your sword, but you're very certain that won't do anything. You're also aware that you're being made to think that, and you try once more to wrest back narrative control, but to no avail. Incidentally, if you knew that when you tried to do that, it made your face look like you were both sucking on a lemon and trying to de-seed it with your tongue, you wouldn't keep trying. Stop that, you snap, and the sylph grins.
You're aware the timeline branched when John made his choice, yes? I mean, all choices make timelines branch because that's how time works, but that's got to be the most specific and wildly important lunch choice ever, right?
The sylph says. I'm aware, you confirm.
Good. And you deliberately orchestrated a lot of the events either directly or through narrative control as a means of maintaining relevance, right?
They ask. Our world was outside canon. We were losing relevance and truth. Something had to be done, even if it means making myself a villain, you say. The sylph shoots you a look and pulls something out of their Silodex, a pin, the kind you use for sewing. You feel your words stuck to your tongue suddenly wrenched from you and literally pinned to thin air, gleaming in text form before you.
That's interesting. I'm sure we'll come back to it.
They remark.
Tell me what canon means.
They ask. Shall I start with the Dang it. Shall I start with biblical canon and work my way up? How much time do you have? You ask sarcastically and finally sit down.
Funny. And that could be interesting, but pass. Canon in a story is the way things actually happened. Things that are outside canon or questionably canon might have happened, but you can't say otherwise. Such as Gandalf may have been wearing a red, sparkly thong throughout the whole Hobbit adventure. Who's to say? Non-canon is things that explicitly aren't so. It is not canon that Lord English's body looks like a small fluffy rabbit because we've seen otherwise in canon. Agreed?
They ask. Right, and ever since we went through that door, we became non-canon. You say like it's obvious.
Sure, the story was over. Your lives went on. Hell, half the point for us was it meant that any outcome after that was as canon as any other.
The sylph says in clear frustration. Was? You say, surprising the sylph. It seems that narrative control doesn't mean you can't still surprise them, though unshakable, their hold doesn't seem too tight to you.
There were
The sylph hesitates.
epilogues, which, speaking from my standpoint, I don't know if that's your fault or the author's, but here we are.
You said for us. The point for us was that any outcome was equally canon. Who is us? You press. At this, the sylph looks a little uncomfortable. They fiddle with their sylph robes a little before answering.
You're aware of the narrative of canon. These are things from stories. This isn't like the whole of a tree falls in a forest doesn't make a sound business. Narrative doesn't strictly need them, but in your case, there are readers of canon, outside canon and non-canon alike.
They say. You are afforded a degree of privacy to the confirmation of something you've long suspected but avoided thinking about. Your thoughts and feelings on this matter are not dictated to you, and you suppose not broadcasted to anyone else.
We can circle back to that, but I wanted to ask you about this ultimate self thing.
They say instead.
Basically, what the fuck, Dirk?
What do you mean, what the fuck? This the fuck. Since being outside of canon, my awareness of other iterations of myself broadened beyond my control, making me the ultimate Dirk. Rose's awareness has similarly... You begin.
You're the dumbest motherfucker.
The sylph shouts, throwing their hands up in the air.
So you're aware of some other Dirks because of heart is a bullshit power. We can both agree on that. That doesn't make you some ultimate self. I actually have degrees in philosophy that I didn't get from Wikipedia, unlike you. You're acting like your world has some Plato's cave and everyone is transfixed by these shadows, but only you and Rose, with your godly help, can stand to turn around and look at things as they are.
They yell.
There is no ultimate Dirk living in the realm of the forms, and even if there was, you definitely cannot be him because you're taking actions that narrow down who you are and aren't. This isn't some shadow allegory. It's a metaphor that means you need to stop being fake deep in your room and make your life meaningful yourself.
The sylph is on their feet now and glaring at you. Well, excuse me for growing up in a post-apocalyptic... You cut yourself off, mercifully, because you were about to continue being stupid, and the sylph wasn't done yet, thank you.
Ceci n'est pas une ultimate Dirk.
Yeah, they say spitefully in mangled French, and flick you in the forehead as they do so. Well, now who's being pretentious? You argue. Oh, I forgot I was narrator. The sylph drops to the ground and lifts their skirt.
No, I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one. It happens.
Do you want me to swap in?
You're good. I'm on it. It wasn't for a second. The sylph drops to the ground and lifts their skirt high enough in a ruffled ball to muffle a scream into it. A few seconds pass, and they let their crumpled skirts go and sigh.
I hate these fucking things.
They grumble and try to smooth the skirts down. You can change them. I mean, look. You point out, gesturing to your very fancy outfit. The sylph doesn't seem impressed.
Let's try this a different way. Your theory is that you are the ultimate Dirk, and my theory is that you are merely aware of some others and influencing each other a little. Is your statement that you're comprised of or are aware of all Dirks regardless of canonical status?
They ask, their voice calmer. Yes, you agree.
Well, let's get that disproved right away then.
They say, and hold out their hands, closing their eyes. A bubble forms, again layered with the same heart pink as the one holding your ship, and when it gets to person-sized, a Dirk appears in it, seemingly sleeping, and you would guess somewhat younger than you. He's wearing one of your old black tank tops, and his arm is covered in tattoos, but not the one you gave Jake all those years ago.
You don't know who he is, do you? He's a Dirk, a different one from a different universe. His existence is outside canon, though it flirts with it briefly. He's one of mine, actually. I made him. But he is Dirk. You can see that, right?
The sylph asks. You stare and feel out the heart of this Dirk. He's not you. There are parts of him that are way off. Piste? Pist? There are parts of him that are way off model for you, but so are a lot of your other selves. He has a core of your soul in him somewhere. He's a Dirk. He's a Dirk. The sylph laughs softly and waves the bubble away into nothingness.
Your house of cards tumbles pretty easily, Dirk. You said here about making yourself the villain, but an ultimate Dirk would be unchanging in the truth of his ultimateness. Making yourself something else implies not only stepping away from that ultimate self, if such a thing exists, but also making yourself into something you're not.
They say, and you bristle at this. And you, haven't read my story, think I'm, what, better than that? You sneer.
Yes and no, I suppose. This is the whole heart thing, really.
They say softly. They wave their hands and a huge, pink, glittering heart of diamonds appears.
If we're using metaphor here, yourself is like this, multifaceted to an impossible degree. You're Hal, you're Bro, you're part of Cal, Arqueus, you're pre-retcon Dirk, you're you. It goes on.
They say, tilting the giant gem this way and that to throw reflections of images at you.
They're all contradictory and jumbled, but in each of them there's a splinter of self, but paradoxically, they're a whole expression of you all by themselves. They're both a part and a complete thing. You have the capacity for great things, wonderful personality traits and behaviors, as well as awful things, terrible flaws, and despicable acts. This is why truth is such a stupid concept as far as I'm concerned. This is not a yes-no question, meat or candy. Your false dichotomy is stupid. It's always been all of the above simultaneously.
They say.
You want to crack all of these down into one true thing, and you can't. You can shatter the whole thing, very princely, I suppose, and try to force it into a mirror to show who you are, but that's not the same thing.
They say, and hand the gem to you. It feels questionably real, like your hands are touching it, and even they're not totally sure about this business.
I get mind players. I do. It's nice to say that an action is good or bad or has positive or negative consequences. It feels simpler, more real. Though I'm sure it's harder in practice. But with heart, with the self, most people don't know who they really are. People prefer not to know. I mean, it took Dave ages to figure himself out, if he's even done with it, and Broxy too. Plus, if we're looking at avoiding who you are, Jake is pretty good as examples go.
They say.
Who you are is influenced by your world, by everything. You're a constantly changing thing in motion that can never be fully described to anyone else. Hey, do you know the beetle in the box argument?
They derail themselves and look at you. You nod, still a little transfixed by the infinite reflection of yourself in the gem they handed you. So many different lives lived, some good, some awful, and some just so-so. Wittgenstein made an argument on language. His point was about pain. Only I can know I'm in pain, and I can only guess about other people. The mind is the same. We all have this thing. I suppose you want me to say our heart, since that is your angle, but we can only talk about it to other people, never show the actual thing. Wittgenstein's analogy was everyone has a box, they can never know what's in it, and we're told what's in our boxes is called a beetle. My beetle may actually be totally different to yours, and we'll never know. We can only assume everyone else is like us. It gets very solipsistic if you ask me. You answer.
That's one way of looking at it. You're still hung up on the truth, I think. If you can't simplify it and express it to people, is it even real? Is your world even real? Are you? I've got to be honest with you, man. Feeling like you've been suddenly cut loose and nothing matters, and this isn't how it was supposed to be, and you've got to do something is just how your 20s and 30s is. Maybe your whole life. I'll let you know. This is a quarter life crisis with god powers. Antagonistic narcissism and control issues, if you ask me.
The sylph shrugs. I didn't, you point out. The sylph shrugs like, what are you gonna do, despite your arguments? Nothing matters and crushing uncertainty is the only. Oh. Nothing matters and crushing uncertainty is the only certainty isn't the talking me out of this. You say sharply.
Man, nothing matters. You'll never know if you're real, if reality is real, if people really care about you, if things will turn out okay. Nothing is certain, nothing objectively matters. You can do anything, and I think that's great. Do what you want. Be an optimistic nihilist. So your world may not matter. Why not make it nicer? And how canon it is, be damned.
They say.
I'm not talking you out of this because after this bubble of mine comes down, you'll do whatever you do, and there's dick I can do about it. I don't even truly care that you've become a Dirk I like less than other versions because you're still a valid expression of what Dirk as an entity is capable of. Same with your whole world. You're the answer to the equation of what if Dirk, but X, Y, and Z.
The sylph says and stands up with a shrug. So, why did you come here? You ask, trying to hand the giant crystal heart back, but they don't seem to want to take it.
Like I said, I had questions, mostly about your reasoning, and I had thoughts about what I've seen you do. Maybe the better question is if there was no one to redeem you, no God, no council of readers to deem you problematic or valid, if you had no need to repent and just had your actions, the only thing real was the world you just left and the people in it, what would you want to do? What would they want? Do you care?
They ask.
There are versions of you in people's heads, no doubt, who are just as outside canon as many others, who turn the ship around, who try to mend their harm. Not to mention those who pick an earlier you before those mistakes, and sure, so much doesn't go wrong.
They say thoughtfully, and then shrug.
All expressions of the self are as real as each other to me. The question really is, which one do you want to pilot this awareness through?
They say with a smile and touch you on the forehead. Then, suddenly, they're gone. The bubble around you pops, and when you look down at your hands again, there's no gem there. No refracting bauble of your own soul. Where do you go from here?
No. I really liked that.
I like that
I love
too.
the fact that Unda having a conversation with Dirk.
Yeah, just like pointing out some flaws in his logic and like giving him a choice.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
Yeah.
And I will start reading in just a second. I'm just shoving some ramen in my face.
You're so good. Ramen delicious. I'm happy to have read that out loud because I reread this one like 4 times and still felt like there was stuff I wasn't getting, but now that I've like heard it, I'm like, "Oh. Oh cool."
Like, oh, that's what happened. That's what's going on.
I have like pretty good reading comprehension, but not always.
Oh my God, I admittedly, like after we do a stream, like within the next 2 days, I usually listen back on it because I don't always understand what I'm reading if I'm reading it out loud.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so focused on not flubbing up that it's like, I don't know what I just read, man. I just work here.
Yep. If people were like, summarize the thing you just read aloud, I'd be like, for the vast majority of the time.
No. Listen, I get asked to summarize something and I'll just the whole time.
Yeah. Here's a link to the original thing. Jackass.
Pretty much. Listen, I don't know how to summarize. People are like, oh, just cut out the non-important bits. Like everything's important. What do you mean?
Yep. Have you read the story? It's all good.
It's all of it. All right. Then I think this is the last story, right?
It is. Last story for
It's
today.
called Yeah, it's called Catch Feelings.
Catch feelings.
And I will be voicing Dave.
I'll be Carcat. Still going
Summary.
strong.
Yeah, and I'll be reading this one then.
Wonderful. Let me know if you
Summary.
need a break.
Oh, yeah, of course. On seeing yourself in movies and the value of good representation. People see themselves in movies. That's half the point of stories altogether, let alone movies specifically. Of course, there's escapism, seeing the kind of person you want to be or admire, but everyone sees characters and feels a bond of sameness with them now and then. You're no exception. You see characters who fall for another troll and feel a tangled mess of things for that person. You want to be the one who has some dramatic or poetic thing happen and everything slots neatly into one quadrant and you get the happy ever after. That's one path for that character. But the other, the one that you really see yourself in, are the ones where that doesn't happen and the character becomes a cautionary tale. Get your shit straight or die alone, probably cold by drones. They die sad deaths, either with people sadly commenting that they never even got their quadrants right, or they're just thrown under the scuttlebutt heap. Sometimes they're the joke character, not the comic relief who is beloved and makes the jokes, but rather the one who is the joke. You're a joke character. Still, you love movies. You love romance, and you're used to the sting of seeing yourself in them like that. Naturally, then, when you first started to really bond with Dave on the Meteor, you watched movies together. You get to explain things about Alternian cinema, explain tropes. Several times you have to explain romance and quadrants to him, and basic words that you guess he doesn't get. She's kind of hot, Dave says idly, his feet up on the coffee table.
The Blue Blood actress? Yeah, she does more indie films, but she's pretty popular.
You agree. I mean, the girl giving her all the security details over the mic is cute too, in a girl nerd kind of way, Dave adds. Yeah, he liked her too. Dave keeps watching the movie, sees the part where the Olive Date Mancer's nondescript feelings drag on almost comically until the point where her love interest makes out with her new mate Sprit right in front of her. Wow, what a fucking dick move. Dave sneers, and you wrench your gander bulbs from the screen to look at him. She obviously liked her, and fine if she didn't feel the same, but that's just mean, Dave says, waving a hand at the screen.
Well, she hadn't made her interest plain in any quadrant.
You mumble, because it's the reason it happened. It's what's happened to you before with Terezi. That shit. If they mutually liked each other, then the right thing is to either work out something that works for both of them or call it a day, not just mac on the next person going right in front of her, Dave argues. Leaning back into the sofa near him, you can almost feel Dave's conviction that this is wrong, radiating outwards towards you. Sure, I get it. Troll romance is different and better or whatever, but don't you guys ever just catch feelings for someone without totally getting it? Dave asks, looking over at you. Does it happen? He asks you that and then looks at you like he gives a shit about your opinion. He saw the character that's your type of troll and liked her best, was emotionally attracted to her as well as physically. The stupid joke character made to dig at people like you. And he asks you that with his soft, fangless human mouth and a displeased pout, a ghost of an expression filtering through the walls he has up around himself. Do people just get feelings for other people? He asks as he brazenly sits there all too warm-blooded, hullably delicate, but unfairly tough too.
Yeah, that happens.
You say in a voice that you hope isn't as strangled as it feels. The next time someone like you is on screen, they're killed off thoughtlessly, and Dave rapidly loses interest. Everyone else in this movie is a psycho now that brown guy died, and explosions don't even work like that. Sure. Dave groans. It happens with movie after movie. You start anticipating it, hoping for it, asking Dave in advance what he thinks of the people like you because he seems drawn to them. Of course, it happens again. You always, as Dave put it, catch feelings for people you really like. You look forward to your movie get-togethers, to seeing his genuine reaction to movies as he relaxes more around you. You can see that he's smart, for all he pretends that he's not. You can see the doubt he hides between fake confidence and irony. As per fucking usual, you can't nail your stupid feelings down to any one quadrant, and it's the same shit all over again. You're so done with it. So done. You might not be great at hiding that frustration with yourself either. Ugh. That's. Did they need to focus on the death that long? Dave asks with a grimace. You glare at the bloodied remains of Troll Will Smith's character on the screen. Jeez, that just came out of nowhere. Your planet's movies are fucked up, and I witnessed way too many Saw movies in my formative years. Dave snorts.
Yeah, well, he had it coming. If he'd stayed pale for his moirail, she would have been there to help him, but he vacillated to red, and she left, so he got fed to the wood chipper.
You hiss, hating him and yourself. Your claws are digging into your palms tightly. Dude, I thought you liked Troll Will Smith, Dave says in a soft surprise.
That's not the point.
Okay, Dave says and leans back in the cushion of the sofa to look at you. But if she really loved him, then she'd have stuck with him. I know you go on about troll romance being superior, and I might not be a connoisseur of human romance movies, but if you drop someone the moment that it's inconvenient for you, then you're a shitty girlfriend or whatever. He stands up from the seat and stretches, ignoring the rest of the action on screen that's now shifted to the main pitch pair who are finally getting together. He's lost interest in the movie now that the guy who can't hold his quadrants is dead. You can't hold your quadrants for shit, and you have feelings up to here. Not to mention that you do like being around Dave, for all you frequently want to throttle him for being ignorant. Maybe he wouldn't get tired of your inability to settle on one shade of romance. Maybe things could turn out okay, and you won't be the joke. You could avoid dying painfully and insignificantly, and instead be the main romance, not the cautionary tale.
Hey, Dave.
You say quickly. Yeah?
Did you like Troll Will Smith's character?
You ask hesitantly. I'm not sure anyone likes him as much as you do. But sure, he was nice. Not in a gay way, of course. Like, can you imagine? Wait, I can't remember if anyone explained being gay or if you just rambled about it a lot in a no homo way or whatever. Or sorry, if I've rambled about it a lot in a no homo way or whatever. Dave says hastily. Ah, yes, this.
John explained homosexuality to me.
You assure him. That's a 5-word horror story right there. Nope, leaving. Not doing that. Bye, dude. Dave groans and floats away. You probably need to look into that from more reputable sources, but he's willing to navigate your shit, at least theoretically. You could do this. You could have a real romance of your own, perhaps. Just you and Dave.
Yeah.
Dave. Being like, haha, no homo, bye.
No homo. Haha, no homo. Wait, do you know what homo is? Not that I'm asking for myself or anything. Haha, bye.
But bye. Oh my goodness, basically.
Wonderful.
The fact that we're already done, this feels like such a shorter stream than otherwise, but like,
Yeah.
oh.
We didn't know until we knew, of course, but in retrospect, I sort of wish I'd split the Great Empire of HIC into 5 parts instead of 4, because that's like our reading speed, you know.
Yeah, and by the end, it's like, hi, I don't know words.
I don't know
I
words.
just work here.
I don't know where I am. So yeah, we'll do next week. We'll do the second and final part of the Unda Oneshots group. Then we'll take a break, and I'll announce our next project next time. So we'll see you guys later. Stay hydrated, take naps, etc.